Namassundaranathaya Tasmai Halasya Vasine Chatushashti Vidhalila Yenakari Bhuvasthale Shrimat Sundaranathasya Devim Shapharalochanam Kalaye Hridaye Nityam Kadamba Vanavasinim Putam Swataf Putataram Tatoyat Gangampaya Shankara Mauli Sangat Tatpatu Matuf Pranayaparadha Padahate Putatamam Tato Naha Pashyan Madhyamalokasya Ramaniyakamadbhutam Pamsubhis Sakarodbhutaihi Chakaraiva Divam Bhuvam Vidravadbhir Vane Tasmin Vyadha Vyaghra Mrigadhipaihi Mriganam Rakshanadasin Mrigendraha So Adbhutaha Kshitau Mahendra Desha Malayam Malayadapi Dardaram Sancharan Jatu Chitprapa Kunjaro Nipakanana. The Sarga fourth Sarga started with Indra, who came on Airavata, and by chance he met sage Durvasa. Sage Durvasa being a person who is by nature, he is very short-tempered, so he can be angered immediately. Durvasa gave the prasadam of Shiva in the form of a mala. It's some say it is a Devyaha Katyayanyaha prasadarupena dhritam malam. He gave it to Indra. Indra in his Tamil சொல்றச்சே மதமதப்பும்போ அதாவது it's an arrogance combined with that power which makes people behave in a certain manner, right? They don't realize how much they hurt another person, so he just takes that garland and he doesn't think much of it and places it on top of the elephant Airavata, which is his swabhavam, swabhavam of a normal elephant, not that of a diggaja who is a divya gaja, right? But he behaves at that moment like a very normal elephant, and he takes that garland from his head and puts it down on the ground and he crushes it. Now this angers Durvasa immediately. He curses both Airavata and Indra. Now this Leela, the second Leela that we are looking at is Airavata's Shapa Vimochanam only, and then Indra's curse will come later during the 13th Leela among the 64 Leelas of Shiva. So Airavata is now born as a normal elephant in the Mahendra Parvatam. Mahendra Parvata, the reference to Mahendra Parvata comes in Ramayanam, where Hanuman jumps from the Mahendra Parvatam and he crosses to the ocean to go to Lanka. So assuming the Mahendra Parvata must be the southernmost point tip of the Indian peninsula, where there must have been a Parvatam, and now it is probably a small hillock. That is Mahendra Parvatam, and Airavata was born on that Parvata. Kavi Neelakanta Dikshita describes in detail how he was treated and how he treated the other animals also. Pashyan Madhyamalokasya. Next, he looks at, he roams around Madhyamaloka. Madhyamaloka is Bhumi. So you have Patalam and then Bhumi, Swargam. There are different ways of looking at the worlds. You can have the concept of 14 worlds where you have Bhurbhuvaswaramaha, 7 worlds on the top and 7 worlds down. Madhyamaloka is this Bhumi. It is also Madhyamam for various reasons. The set of Uparitana Lokaha, all of those lokas are you get those lokas, you get to those lokas because you have done a lot of punya. If you do a lot of papam, then you go to the adholokaha, and this Madhyamalokam is your bhumi, wherein you can get rid of both papam and punyam and attain moksha. So this is the only place where you can bring your balance sheet to zero. Otherwise, one or the other will be high and you are trying to reduce it to bring it to zero to get mukti, moksha. Now, Madhyamalokam here is Bhumi, where Airavata roams around and he sees the beauty of this Madhyamalokam. And then a natural attitude of an elephant is to throw mud on itself. It's something you will see elephants do. And that natural behavior is fancied by the poet, and he says, Divam Bhuvam Chakara Iva. Athava Bhuvam Divam Chakara. So Divam is Akasha, and Bhumi is filled with mud and water and everything. So it is as if it is taking out the mud from this Bhumi and trying to make this Bhumi as an Akasham. Or it takes the mud and throws it into the Akasham, thinking that the Akasham should also be as beautiful as this Bhumi. And so he made the Akasha as a Bhumi. That is the 26th shloka. In the 27th shloka, he again, Nilakanta Dikshita says that he was a very different kind of Mrigendra. Mrigendra is an elephant. Mrigendra is a king of animals. But here, usually, if you look at the king of animals, Mrigendra hatu, Simha eva, Simhastu tatra Mriganam Rakshanam na karoti, kintu Bhakshanam eva karoti. Parantu ayam Gajaha, he protects all these small animals from enemies like lions or tigers or hunters. So he is a different kind of Mrigendra. He is not the Mrigendra that we all know as a lion, but he is a different kind of king who is actually a protector of the animals in the forest. Next, as he moves in the Bhumi from one Parvatam to another Parvatam, so probably the movement is also closer towards Madurai, where you have this Nipavanam or Kadambavanam. The description of the Kadambavanam was beautifully brought out in the second and the third Sarga by the poet. Now, from Mahendra Parvata, he moves to Malaya Parvata. Malaya Parvatam is closer inside the plateau. Malayat Dardaram. Now, this Dardara Parvata is only mentioned in Ramayana or Puranas as Dardura. In some places, it is mentioned as Dardara. In today's world, I don't know if we can recognize which mountain that is, but he moved to from one mountain to another mountain, closer to Madurai and closer to Kadambavanam, and he reached Kadambavanam. So Jatu Chit Kadachit Nipakananam Saha Prapa. As he was roaming around, he came to this Nipavanam, which means it must have been closer to his Shapa Vimochanam time, and that's why Prasangat Daiva Vashat, he was brought to that place by Daivam, by fate. Right? Now, we'll start from the 29th shloka. Madagandhashaya praptaihi madhupaihi vipinat tataha sampradarshita vartma iva saha yayau hemapadminim. Saha here is the elephant. So tataha vipinat madagandha ashaya praptaihi madhupaihi sampradarshita vartma iva hemapadminim yayau. The tataha is Nipavana prapya tadanantaram. After reaching Nipavanam, now there is a lake. We saw the description of the lake and how it was made, right? Shiva used his Trishulam. He struck the Bhumi, and in fact, as he struck, it went so deep that it even struck the Avaranam of Bhumi, which is the Jala Avaranam, and Jalam, water started coming out of that outer covering of earth, and that water is Hemapadmini, which is the lake. There are many names for Hemapadmini. It's called Shiva Ganga, because Shiva, apparently, he wanted to look at it and he said, oh, this is such a beautiful lake, and he wanted to look at it. As he bent his head down, the waters of Ganga from his head also fell into that Hemapadmini, and Ganga mixed with that water, so it became the most pure form of any tirtham that you can find in Bharatadesha. So it is also called Shiva Ganga or Hema Padmini, Suvarna Padmini iti. Now Hema Padminim Saha Yayav. So Saha Gajaha, that elephant, reached Yayav. It went to Hema Padmini. It went to this lake called Hema Padmini. It's also a lake made of golden lotuses. That is why it is called Hema Padmini athava Suvarna Padmini iti. So Padma, Padmini is a lotus lake, or it can be a lotus plant also. Here we take it as a lake which is which has a lot of golden lotuses. Right, so devas came there and they planted those lotuses, and Hema Padmini is the Puttramarai Kulam that we say, which is present in Madurai. Puttramarai is also Pon Tamarai. Pon is gold and Tamarai is lotus. That's the Tamil name for the lake that is present in Madurai. So Hema Padmini Yayav. Airavata went to this Hema Padmini, but how did he know how to go to that lake? Someone has to show him the way to go there, right? Sampradarshita Vartma Iva. He was shown the way by Madhupaihi Sampradarshita Vatma Iva. It's as if the bees that were there showed him the way to this Suvarna Padmam. How is that possible? So imagine Madagandha Ashaya. Now the elephant is coming in. We all saw number of shlokas that were describing the fragrance of his Madajalam, the ichor that comes from the temples of an elephant. So that is Madagandha, Madajalam. Madajalasya Gandhahatu, it is a very strong smell, and bees are attracted towards that smell. So Madagandha Ashaya, due to the Asha, the desire for, out of a desire for that fragrance of ichor, that Madajalam, Praptaihi Madhupaihi. In that Nipavanam, there are a lot of golden lotuses, and those lotuses have a sweet smell, and bees are present in those lotuses. Right? As soon as this Airavata enters that Nipavanam, the bees see the presence of a greater fragrance, more attractive fragrance, and it starts traveling from the Hema Padmini towards the elephant. So there is a trail of bees. Imagine the elephant is here, the lake is there. As soon as the elephant enters your forest, from the lake, all of the bees that are present in the lotuses, so the first ones that are closest must have started traveling. So as soon as one set of bees started traveling, then the ones that were further and further away would then follow these bees. They don't move at the same time. They all move in a trail, in a line fashion. And as they come towards this elephant, the elephant can see the path from where these bees have come. And so it is as if the bees are showing him the way to Pottramarai Kulam, the Swarna Padmini. Madagandha Ashaya Praptaihi Madhupaihi Kutaha Vipinat Praptaihi Madhupaihi. Vipinat Kananat Kanana Antare, inside the forest, from the lake, from the forest, the Madhupaihi, the bees which came out of the forest, out of a desire for this Madajalam, Madagandha Ashaya Praptaihi, Vipinat Praptaihi Madhupaihi, Sampradarshita Vartma Iva. He was shown the way, as it were, as if he was shown the way by these honeybees which came out. That elephant, Saha, Hema Padmini Yayau. Now he reached this Hema Padmini because the Brahmaraha tu tatra Brahmaranam Agamana Margam Drishtva Eva Prayaha tatra Saraha Vartate, and then he was also attracted and he wanted to go towards that lake probably, and that's why he followed the bees, the trail of the bees. Okay, so Madagandhashaya Praptaihi Madhupaihi Vipinat Tataha Sampradarshita Vartma Iva Saha Yayau Hema Padmini. So Sampradarshita Vartma here is Vartma. Sampradarshanam is a kriya which is actually not done by the bees. The bees are actually attracted to the elephant, but they are not coming to show the way for the elephant. But the poet has given the idea that probably they are showing the way. So this is a kriya utpreksha. Next one, Ganesha Mada Nishyanda Gandha Sarvasva Vedinaha Upeksham Brahmaraha Chakruhu Unmadaha Tanmadam Bhasi. See, first they thought that this elephant which came had a great smell and they got attracted. So immediately they went. But even as soon as they went, they realized that, oh, this elephant is not Ganesha. Ganesha is much, much better, and the fragrance is so much more sweeter than this elephant. Yadyapi, ayamapi divya gajaha iti chet, tathapi Ganeshasya vata na bhavedeva. Khalu? So Ganesha's Madagandham would be much, much superior to the Airavata's Madagandham, and moreover, Airavata it is only an avatar. It is not the real Airavata which is here for it to get that smell. So Ganesha Mada Nisyanda Gandha Sarvasva Vedinaha Bhramaraha. This entire first line is one word as an adjective to Bhramaraha. So Bhramaraha Upeksham Chakruhu. This is your main sentence here. Bhramaraha, the bees, upeksham chakruhu, they ignored this elephant's madajalam. So unmadaha tan madambhasi tan unmadaha tan madambhasi unmadaha. Okay, I did not think of where to put this word. Unmadaha can mean arrogant because they knew more than, I think, arrogant. You can also take it as because they know the essence of something which is more superior. They were already intoxicated. So Unmadaha, otherwise they would not have ignored Airavata. So Unmadaha, why were they already intoxicated? Because they were, they have Ganesha Madajalasya Parichayam Asit Tesham iti Karanat, te Purvameva Unmadaha Asan. They were already intoxicated because they knew they were, the Ganesha's smell was always there constantly in that Kadambavanam. Why is that? Now go back to I think it's the second Sarga. Yes, second Sarga. If you look at the 61st Shloka, it says Vanyad Dvipeshu Anyatamo Ganeshaha Vyadharbhakeshu Ekatamaha Kumaraha Sapyadi Shaktihi Shavarishu Kapi Bhutva Vichakruhu Savidhe Purarehe. Tatra Shivalingasya Varnane Purarehe Savidhe. It was not only Shiva who was present there, it was a Swayambulingam that was present in the Nipavanam. And in that Swayambulingam, because others also wanted to be with him in his presence, in Shiva's presence, Lingam is also one of the Rupam of Shiva, where there is a Shiva Sannidhyam in the Lingam also. Hence, Parameshwari, that is Adishakti, Ganesha, and Kumaraswamy, all three of them wanted to be in that presence of Shiva. And so they took on different forms and were roaming around in the forest near that Swayambulingam. One is Vanya Dvipeshu Anyatamaha Ganeshaha. Ganesha became one among the wild elephants that were roaming around. He also took on a form of a wild elephant and he wanted to be in the presence of Shiva. So he was roaming around. And then Vyadha Arbhakeshu Ekatamaha Kumaraha. There were a lot of hunters, and Kumara, Guha Swami, also took on the form of a small child in the Vyadhakulam. And he was also present there. Sapi Adishaktihi Parameshwari, Parvati also became Kapi, Shabarishu Kapi. She took on a form of one of the hunter women, Shabari, and Vijahruhu. They all were roaming around there in Nipavanam. Now, because Ganesha is always there among the wild elephants present in that forest, these bees know the essence of that Madajalam from Ganesha himself, the best among the elephants. So Ganesha, Mada, Nishyanda is Pravaha, Ganeshasya Madasya Gandajalam Vartate Kalu, Tasya Nishyandasya Pravahasya Gandham Amodam Tasya Sarvaswam Jananti Vidanti Iti Vedinaha. So those bees which are Vedi, they know the essence, Sarvaswam, of the Gandha. Gandha is the smell of the flow of Ganesha's Madajalam. They're very used to that. Now imagine how superior that must be. Because of that, unmadaha, being very intoxicated, these bees, mada ambasi, tanmada ambasi, here tatu refers to saha Airavatavataaraha. Airavatyasya avataraha yaha gajaha vartate tasya mada ambasi, tasya madajale upeksham chakruhu. They ignored it. Audasinyam. They were very neutral about it. First, initially, they were cheated and they moved from the Suvarna Padmini. Then they came towards this elephant and thought that it is much more attractive. And then they were vanchitaha. For a moment, they thought that it could be like Gajamukha Madajalam. But then they were cheated by that. And so, Samipam Agatya Tadanantaram Upeksham Akurvan. They did not Purutpadithalan Upekshana. They did not care much for this elephant. Ganesha Madan is so even the bees around there know only the best. Ganesha Mada Nishyanda Gandha Sarvasva Vedinaha. Sarvasvam is essence. Vedinaha, Vedi, Vidanti, Vetti iti Vedi. So Vedinaha, Vidanti, those who know, those who understand. Ganesha Mada Nishyanda Gandha Sarvasva Vedinaha Upeksham Brahmaraha Chakruhu Unmadaha Tanmadambhasi. Actually, two things can be. Tanmadambhasi Unmadaha Asya Mada Ambhasi Upeksham Chakruhu. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sapatanneva Sarasi Kshiroda Iva Mandaraha Kallolaihi Plavayamasa Kadamba Vipinantaram. Saha Sarasi Patan Kallolaihi Kadamba Vipinantaram Plavayamasa. Saha Gajaha Sarasi Patan, he fell into the lake. Fell means not, he did not, he did not slip and fall or anything. It's like taking a dive into the lake. He sees a huge lake there. The elephant is very happy, and it's the nature of elephants. Swabhavastu ayameva, yata jale patanam tu tesham swabhavaha. And then it comes out, and then again it takes mud and puts it on its head. But here he fell into that lake, he jumped into that lake, did a dive into that lake. Sarasi Patan, as he jumped into the lake, Patan Eva, as he fell into the Hemabjini lake, how was it? Kshirode Mandaraha Iva. Just as how Mandara mountain was put inside the milk ocean, Kshirabdi, Kshirasagara, for churning the ocean to bring out the Amritam, Mandara mountain was used as that churning rod. So Kshirode, Kshirasagare, Mandaraha Iva, Saha Gajaha Sarasi Patan Eva. As he fell into that lake, like Mandara mountain falling into the Kshiroda Parvatam, what happened? Immediately there is displacement, right? So the displacement happens in the form of waves, kallolaihi, and where does it go? It flooded the entire forest there nearby. So Kadamba Vipina Antaram, Kadamba Vanasya Antaram Pradesham. All the inner places of the Kadamba forest, it flooded the grounds of the Kadamba forest with its waves. So Kallolaihi, Urmibihi, Kadamba Vipinantaram Plavayamasa. Plavate is when someone is floating. Saha Plavate. Saha Plavayamasa is he flooded everything outside. So he made everything start to float or sink underneath water. So Saha Patanneva Sarasi, that elephant fell into the Hemabjini lake, like a Mandara mountain into the Kshirasagara, Kshirode Iva Mandaraha, Kallolaihi Plavayamasa, he flooded with its waves, Kadamba Vipinantaram, all the grounds of the Kadamba forest. Now what happened after he fell inside? He came out very pure. Malino nirmamajja asmin unmamajja atha nirmalaha Pragabhut Kevalo Bhomaha Sarvabhomo Ata Dantinam. Malinaha Asmin Malinaha Nirmamajja. This elephant has been walking for a long time from Mahendra Parvatam, that is from Kanyakumari to Madurai. He has walked, right? Even now, if we travel by train or bus, we feel very dirty and we feel very sweaty and everything. We want to take a bath. This elephant has walked from Mahendra Mountain, Kanyakumari to Madurai. Imagine. So how dirty he must be. Asme malinaha sanne saha nirmamajja. He sank into this lake being dirty. Now this malinaha is a very interesting word. Malam asya asti iti mali, right? Malinaha, or one who has both dirt and sin. Papam. Malam asya asti is malinaha. So papam can also be taken as mala. In Tamil we have this concept of mummalam. There are three types of mala in Shaiva Siddhanta, which is adena anamam, karma malam. I think there are three types of mala, which are anava mala, maya mala, and karma mala. Correct. Yeah, Anavam is the sense of aham mama iti abhiprayaha eva tatra anava malam. Aham iti tatra ahankarasya mala rupena bhavyate, and then mayika malam. Maya rupena. See, we may not have arrogance, but there are so many things that are given to us in the form of brahmam, perception. Maya kritam is malam. The other is karma mala, which is activity. We do a lot of activities which give rise to papam and punyam, which is also considered as mala. So he is mali, malam asya asti iti mali. He has papam there, and that is also making him dirty. And there is a physical sharirika malam api asti, because he has traveled for a long time. Dhuli dhusaritaha. He is full of dust, and now he goes into that lake. So asmin sarasi malinaha nirmamajja. Asmin sarasi, into that lake, malinaha, being dirty, that elephant, nirmamajja, he sank into it. Now he comes out. When he comes out, what happens? Ata nirmalaha unmamajja. He comes out of the lake. He emerges out of the lake very pure. Nirmalaha. It's not just pavitraha. Nirmalaha. Nirgatam malam yasmat. Nirgataha malaha yasmat. Shuddhaha asit. Tari sharirika shuddhata api asit tasya. Papa rahitopi abhut. So nirmalaha here, he did not have any of those three malas. Karma, anava, or maya malam could exist. But that maya malam does not affect the divya purushas as much as our usual. Right? So nirmalaha sanna, when he came out, sharirika malam api na asit, he was physically also without mud, and his sin was also gone, which means when he emerged out of that lake, he became Airavata with the four dantas, and all his color was also back, right? So prag abhut kevalaha bhaumaha. Now he plays a word with the word bhaumaha and sarvabhaumaha. Bhaumaha is one who belongs to this bhumi. Bhumehe ayam iti bhaumaha. One who belongs to this bhumi, or bhaumaha can also mean a king. So bhumehe apatyam pumaniti api bhavitum arhati. So one who was born in this bhumi, or bhaumaha can mean a king because he rules this bhumi. So saha purvam bhaumaha asit. So he was only kevalaha sadharanaha bhaumaha. He was only a simple earthly being. He is only a small prani which belonged to the earth, prag abhut. Parantu adhuna, after he came out of that lake, he became a sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma is a chakravarti. Dantinam sarvabhaumaha. He became a king of all of the elephants here. So he became a sarvabhauma, that is universal. Now this implies that he belonged to all of the bhumi. All of the bhumi here meaning sarvasam bhuvam ayam iti sarvabhaumaha. Tari sarvatra saha gantum shaknoti. Athava he was a person who could rule the world, and he could go to all of the different worlds in the in the universe. So he became a sarvabhauma or an emperor, or he became someone who belonged to all of the worlds and not only bhumi. Because of the shapam, he was reduced to an elephant who could only roam around in this bhumi, on the earth. So he was only a kevalaha bhaumaha. He was only a mere elephant who belonged to only one world, which is bhumi. Parantu adhuna yada yada saha sarasaha nirmalaha bahihi uttitaha asit, tada he became a person who could roam around in all of the bhumis. Okay. So malinaha nirmamajja asmin unmamajja atha nirmalaha pragabhut kevalaha bhaumaha sarvabhaumaha atha dantinam. So there is a slesha here because there, you can attach two meanings to the words, both bhauma and sarvabhauma. Next one, uttirya bhahirantascha niraja atiyaya satam shapam adhiyaya muner giraha. Nilakanta Dikshita, right from the beginning of this Sarga itself, he uses a lot of Yamaka and Shabdalankaras. And he also uses the Dvitiyakshara Prasam, which is very typical of Tamil poetry. Right? So, Uttirya Bahirantascha. Bahihi Niraja Akarat Uttirya. Bahihi Antascha Nirajaha Saha Tam Shapam Atiyaya Munehe Giraha Cha Adhiyaya. Two sentences here. First, he came out of the Hemabjini, Niraja Akarat Uttirya. Uttirya Nirgatya. When he, as he came out, emerging from that Niraja Akara, Akarahatu, Atra Utpatti Sthanam iti. Akara can mean a mine, it can mean a repository of something, can mean a Samuham. Here we can take it as Nirajanam Akaraha Utpatti Sthanam, Samudbhava Sthanam, Saraha iti. So Niraja Akarat, Sarasaha, from that lake, Tatakat, Saha. How did he emerge? He came out Uttirya. When he came out, Bahihi Antahacha Nirajaha. Now this is Nirgatam Rajaha Yasmat Saha Nirajaha. Rajas is a Sakaranta Padam. So when you make it into a Bahuvrihi compound denoting a Pullinga Shabdam, then also it will be in Sakaranta for a Pullinga Shabdam, but you will decline it in Sakaranta Pullingam, which is like Chandramaha, Chandramasau, Chandramasa, or Durvasaha, Durvasasau, Durvasasaha. We saw that, right? So in the same way, Nirajaha, Nirajasau, Nirajasaha. This means that that elephant did not have any Rajogunam. There are three gunas. One is Sattva, the next is Rajas and Tamas. Sattva Gunam is mainly found in Devas. Tamo Gunam is found in Asuras. And Rajo Gunam is found in those people who are living in this bhumi. Mainly, of course, there is you can have a combo of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas in varying degrees in everybody. Because Maya is formed, Maya has all three gunas, and we are all a product of Maya. So we will have these three gunas in different varieties. You can find people of different nature, and moment you see them, the way they behave, the way they talk, you can say that, okay, Sattvam is a little higher on them. If they are full of they are very agitated, they're talking fast, they do activities very quickly, then they have a lot of rajas in them. And tamas is when they are very sluggish. And so this gunatraya vibhagaha is present in Bhagavad Gita, and in a very detailed manner, and what food contributes to what kind of guna, etc., etc. Here the idea that Nilakanta Dikshita wants to give is rajas is very prominent among those people who live in bhumi. So this elephant also has rajas in him, And when he emerged out of that lake, his rajogunam was gone and he became a sattvaguna person, sattvaguna elephant. Only when there is an extreme sattvaguna are you considered as a deva. So he becomes a divya gaja because his rajas quantity came down to almost nil. So ni rajaha, rajoguna rahitaha. Rajas also means dhuli, dust. There was no dust on him at all when he emerged out of that is physical. So bahihi nirajaha ityukte bahye sharire, on in his outer body he was without any dust. Nirajaha sanna antaha cha nirajaha sanna. Antaha ityukte manasi rajoguna rahitaha sanna. His rajogunam was completely gone, which causes activity in beings. The elephant saha atiyaya tam shapam atiyaya, he crossed that curse. Atiyaya, ati is the upasarga, iyaya is a lit lakara form of ingatau. Eti itaha yanti ityatra tasya lit lakare tu iyaya. Ati iyaya ityukte ati gacchati, atikramate. So one who crosses. So he crossed the curse when he came out of the lake, and his rajas was completely gone. Both dust and his activity, the gunam also was gone, and so he became a sattva pradhana person, and hence he realized that he had crossed the shapam, that is, he had completed the shapa avadhi, and he was freed of that shapam. So tam shapam atiyaya atyakramata, he crossed that curse, and then he remembered the Muni's words. Munehe giraha cha adhiyaya. This is just to provide that slash alankara, shabdalankara. And he says he also remembered the words of the, see, because as he was in that form of a sadharana gaja, he doesn't remember his shapam as much. There's no memory of that shapam. There is only a samskara, there is a latent impression which prompts him to go towards this nipavanam, and it's the daivam that acts in certain ways for him to be a better animal, or for him to be a more strong animal, or for him to go towards the Shivalinga to do Archana and everything. That is because of the years of samskara as an Airavata elephant. He did not remember the Shapam before. Only after the Shapam is removed, he remembers the words of the Rishi, Munehe, Durvasasaha Maharshehe, Giraha, Giraha, Gihi, Girau, Giraha, Vak. So he remembers the words of the Rishi, and then realizes that he is freed from the shapam. So he is freed from the shapam, and munehe giraha adhiyaya. Adhiyaya is also the same as atiyaya. Adhi, one minute. I need to check the form of this. I have a little bit of iyaya is in gato parasmaipadi. Okay. Yeah. Adhyeti, adhyeti, he adhigacchati, iti adhigacchati, bodhate, one who understands, right? So then he understands the words of the Muni. It's not only just remembering, but more like adhyeti, he understands the words of that Rishi. So iyaya again here is in litlakara of inigatau, and adhi is the upasarga here. So two same verb, but with two different upasargas, the meanings are completely different. Atiyaya is crossing something, and adhiyaya is understanding something. Okay. Uttirya bahirantascha nirajaha nirajakarat atiyaya satam shapam adhiyaya muner giraha. Gangeyaihi shaiva gangeyaihi kamalaihi kamalaspadaihi ekadantam chaturdantaha sindhuram sindhurorchayat. He sees Ganesha there, and he does archana to Ganesha. First, you start your when you enter into a temple, especially a Shiva temple, where you have Pulayar, Kartikeya, Ambal, and then Shiva. There is a methodology to go into the temple and how you have to go also. You will get the most benefit if you do that. Nothing wrong in not doing or doing it in a different way. There is a process, because it is very, how do I say, there is a method to this madness. There is if you have the understanding of why you are doing certain things, then your focus is more. You would benefit more from your temple visit than just quickly going in, seeing the Swami and then coming out. Some people don't even go to other sannidhis. That's not the idea. So you first go into the sannidhi of Ganesha, because your mind is very disorganized, right? You are coming from outside. The outside world is filled with so many different thoughts and things that you will have to bring them into an organized fashion and then go and see other Swamis, so that your focus is here, your concentration is here. Pulyar, that is Ganesha, he is Gananam Adhipatihi Saha. Gana is always a mass which is in disorganized things. So he is the Adhipati of everything that is disorganized in your brain. And the moment you think of him, you look at him, he will organize your thoughts in such a manner that you become focused on your current thing. And you start thinking about the Lord. And he organizes it for you. That's why he is a Gana Adhipaha. Whereas that is Senapati. Once your thoughts are organized, how to channelize them, Kartikeya will teach you. So next you go to Kartikeya. And then you go to Shakti. Then you go to Parabrahma, which is Shiva. So that's the order in which you go and visit in a temple when you go and see Shiva. Don't go directly, go Shiva, see Shiva and get out. You do this process. It will just give you the best benefits out of that visit. That's all. So Gangeyaihi, Shaiva Gangeyaihi, Kamalaihi, Kamalaspadaihi, Ekadantam Chaturdantaha, Sindhuram Sinduraha Archayat. We just rearrange it in an Anvaya fashion, but then the beauty of the shloka is lost when you put it in the Anvaya. The differences that you want to show. Sinduraha, Sindhuram Archayat. Sindhuraha is an elephant. Sindhu is Jalam or Madajalam. Sindhum Rati Dadati. One who gives out that Madajalam is called a Sindhuraha, Gajaha. So Gajaha, Gajam Archayat. One elephant worshipped another elephant. So that Sindhuram, that which is in Dvitiya, the Vibhakti, is Ganesha, and that which is in the Prathama Vibhakti is our Airavata. So Sindhuraha, Airavataha, Sindhuram, Gajamukham, Ganesham, Archayat, Apujayat. Again, Kidrishaha Sindhuraha, Kidrisham Sindhuram Archayat. Ekadantaha, Chaturdantaha Sindhuraha, Ekadantam Sindhuram Archayat. Chaturdantaha Archayat. Archayat varakodadu. Okay. I'm getting confused here. Okay, well, look at it later. Now, Chaturdantaha. Chaturdantaha is Airavata, who has 4 teeth. We saw it in the earlier shloka in this Sarga itself. So, Chaturdantaha. Danti iti, when we try to give the Vigraha Vakyam for Airavata, we have to say Chatvaraha Dantaha Yasya Saha iti Chaturdantaha Danti iti. So, Dantaha Yasya Saha. Whereas, if it is for a normal elephant, then you say Dantau Asya Staha iti Danti. One who has 2 tusks is a normal elephant. Whereas one who has 4 tusks, 4 teeth is Airavata. So Chaturdantaha Sindhuraha, the 4-toothed elephant, worshipped the Ekadantam Sindhuram Archayat. Usually you worship someone who is better than you. Here this Airavata has 4 tusks, but he is worshipping an elephant which has only 1 tusk. Ekam, that too 1.5. One is broken here. Something which is broken is also not complete. It's not a superior being. These are all misconceptions in our mind. You know, it's more to do with the inner greatness and tejas rather than the outer appearance. That's what this shloka is giving us, right? Even though Airavata, it seems to be a very more beautiful elephant. It has 4 tusks and it is endowed, well endowed. but it is worshipping Ekadantam, one who has only one tooth, one tusk. Which means that one tusked elephant must be much, much superior to this elephant which has four tusks. With what? Kamalaihi, with lotuses which he took from the Hemabjini and he brought it to Ganesha and worshipped Ganesha with this lotuses. Now there are three adjectives for Kamalaihi. Gangeyaihi, Shaiva Gangeyaihi, Kamalaspadaihi, Kamalaaspadaihi, Kamalaihi. Now, Kamalaspadaihi, meaning Kamala is Lakshmi, and the Kamalam lotus is the Aspadam, it is the dwelling place, residing place of Lakshmi. So, Kamala Aspadaihi, Kamalaihi, he worshipped Ganesha with lotuses, which are the residing place or the house for Lakshmi. And it is also so beautiful. Since it is a golden lotus, it is as beautiful and it is also a place of wealth. So Kamalaspadaihi, Kamalaihi, Archayat. He worshipped. Next is Shaiva Gangeyaihi. Shiva Ganga is the lake, Hemabjini, and Shiva Ganga. Archayat vandu, to find out what there is no word Archayat. Sindhuro Archayatnu varadu. It's interesting what it could be. I'll have to look further into that word, and it's just okay. Let's do the other words. This word I will think about it and tell an answer next week about Archayat. Gangeyahi, Shaiva Gangeyahi, Shiva Ganga eva Hemabjini, and Shiva Ganga is that lake which is there, and these lotuses which belong to Shiva Ganga. So Shiva Ganga Gangayam Bhavaha Bhavani Kamalani. So Shiva Ganga Shaiva Gangeyahi Kamalaihi, those lotuses which were born in the Shiva Ganga. The next one is Gangeyahi. Gangeyam is not just Ganga. So if you say it was present in Ganga, and then it is also present in Shiva Ganga, so which means this Airavata went to Ganga, brought the lotuses, and then went to this Potramarai lake and then brought those lotuses also. No, it doesn't work like that. Gangeyam is a word for Suvarnam. In Vayu Purana, the Utpatti of Suvarnam is given as Yam Garbhe Sushuve Ganga Pavakat Deepta Tejasam Tadulbam Parvatenyastam Hiranyam Samapadyata. Ganga with the tejas of Pavaka, of fire, she took that fire from took the tejas, brilliance from fire. Pavakat Deepta Tejasam Ulbam. Ulbam is a fetus. So the fetus that came from the fire, Ganga Garbhe Sushuve, she gave it a place and gave birth to it in her womb, and that Ulbam, that fetus, Parvate Nyastam, it was placed inside the Parvata and it became gold. Okay. Now, this is the Purana story of gold, and that's why this gold has the name of Gangayaha Apatyam iti Gangeyam. So, Gangeyaha is Suvarnaha. And when you say Gangeyam Kamalam, it is a Suvarnamayam Kamalam. When you say Neelam Kamalam, Neela Rupa Yuktam Kamalam. In the same way, Suvarna Nirmitam Kamalam eva Gangeyam Kamalam. So Gangeyahi Kamalaihi, Suvarnamayahi or Suvarnaihi Kamalaihi, with the Swarna Kamalam, with golden lotuses, which were born in this Shivaganga lake, which belonged to the Shivaganga lake, and which is also Kamala Aspadam, which is also the dwelling place of Kamala. That is, those lotuses were very beautiful to look at. This elephant, the four-tusked elephant, took those flowers and worshipped the one-tusked elephant, which is Ganesha. So Gangeyahi, Shaiva Gangeyahi, Kamalaihi, Kamalaspadaihi, Ekadantam, Chaturdantaha, Sindhuram, Sindhuro, Archayat. I will stop with this. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Namaste. Yeah.
வர்த்மா சவுண்ட் இருக்குல்ல மேடம், அது வர்த்மன் நகாராந்த புல்லிங்கமா நபும்சகலிங்க சப்தமா மேடம்?
அது வந்து வர்த்மா, வர்த்மானோ, வர்த்மானஹான்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
அது நாமன் மாதிரி வருமா, நபும்சகலிங்க பதமா? அது
நபும்சகலிங்கம் தான் அது. ஆமா, எஸ், நபும்சகலிங்கம். பட் வர்த்மா, வர்த்மனி, வர்த்மானி, கரெக்ட். எஸ், it depends on enga pogardunudo, but in this particular shloka it is bahubrihi and it is an adjective to the elephant, so inge it will become as pullinga padam. So vartma as such is napunsakalingam, seriya? So sampradarshitam vartma yasmai saha, யாருக்கு காண்பிக்கப்பட்டது,
யாரால் யாருக்கு காண்பிக்கப்பட்டதோ அந்த அர்த்தத்தில்.
ஆமா, யாருக்கு காண்பிக்கப்பட்டதோ சம்பிரதர்ஷித வர்த்மா இது. So that becomes a pullinga. Then again, just as how I spoke about nirgatam rajaha yasmat saha ni rajaha, rajaha is a napunsakalingam word and it has become the pullingam form of the sakaranta. In the same manner iduvum adhe mari dhaan. You can have nama also. Nama, namani, namani is a napunsakalingam word. When I say surya nama saha, then it is an adjective to saha, then it becomes a pullinga word in the compounded word. புரியுதா?
ஓகே. அதே மாதிரி காங்கேயம், கங்கா வந்து பிராதிபதிகம்.
எஸ்.
கங்காயாக அபத்தியம் ஸ்திரீ அப்படின்னா அது காங்கேயம்னு வராது இல்ல மேடம்?
வராது. அபத்தியம் ஸ்திரீ கிடையாது. அபத்தியம் இதுதான், அபத்தியம் புமான் தான். காங்கேயா,
காங்கேயம் வந்து லோட்டஸை மட்டும் தான் குறிக்கிறது.
So first it indicates, gangeyaha indicates suvarnaha, okay, as a metal. Now when I use it as an adjective to kamalam, it becomes gangeyam kamalam. Appo suvarna kamalam, visheshana vishesha. Yes.
அதே மாதிரி இந்த செகண்ட் ஸ்லோகால as soon as ஐராவதா enters the Nipavana forest, அங்க இருக்கிற பீஸ் எல்லாம் ஏதோ ஒரு சுகந்த கந்தம் வருதுன்னு எல்லாம் ஓடி வந்து பாக்குறாங்க இல்லையா?
ஆமா.
அப்போ which means he is started getting back his divinity. ஏன்னா ஏற்கனவே கணேசன் வந்து ஒரு யானை ரூபத்துல இருக்காரு. he is a divine being. அதே ஸ்மெல் இங்க இருந்து வந்த உடனே the same divine being தான் வந்திருக்கோம் நினைச்சிட்டு வந்து பாக்குறாங்க. ஆனா அது இல்லைன்னு they are disappointed,
cheated. ஆமா, disappointed.
அப்புறமா he goes to that lake, takes for us, gets back his divinity. அந்த மாதிரி.
Correct. Nice. Okay. Radhika Modi.
Vini, shloka number 30 காட்ட முடியுமா ஸ்கிரீன்ல?
சொல்லுங்க.
சரி, அதுதான் நான் இங்க எழுதுறதுல அத விட்டுட்டேன் நம்பர். அதுக்கா தன்யவாதம்.
Okay, no problem. Shankari Modi, you have a question?
Modi, adya bahu samyak asit sarvam.
Thank you.
हेमार्जिनी इति किमपि उक्तवती.
हेमाब्जिनी.
अब्जिनी. अस्तु, मया सम्यक् न श्रुतं, क्षम्यताम्.
Abja is kamalam and then abjini becomes kamalini, lotus lake iti.
श्रवण मधुरा अस्ति. विशिष्य निर्मलं मलिनः निर्मलः एवं पुनः सिन्दुरम् अर्चयत्. बहु सम्यक् अस्ति. पुनः भौमः इत्युक्ते महाराजः वा?
Bhaumah na one who belongs to Bhumi. So when you look at Sarvabhauma being attributed to emperor, then Bhauma can mean a sadharana nripaha. By reverse இது அவ்வளவுதான். பட் பௌமஹாங்கிறது மார்ஸ் தானே, அந்த நம்ம பூமி புத்திரன்
பூமேஹே புத்திரஹ பௌமஹ. பூமே ஜாதஹ
இதி பௌமஹ.
பௌமஹ இதி ஸ்வீகுர்மஹ வா?
Yes. ஆமாம். That is the basic meaning. சார்வபௌமாலேர்ந்து நம்ம வந்து ரிவர்ஸ் வரும் பொழுது then you can take it as பௌமா as a simple கேவலஹ பௌமஹ நது சார்வபௌமஹ இது அப்படி எடுத்துக்கிறோம்.
दन्तीनां सार्वभौमः.
yes.
पुनः एतद् सर्वस्वम् इत्युक्ते सारः वा?
सर्वस्वம்னா சாரஹ. yes, सर्वस्वம் அப்படின்னு essence. yeah.
अस्तु अस्तु महोदय, धन्यवादाः. पूर्वतनवत् इदानीं महोदया उक्तवती एवं गणेशस्य दर्शनं ततः सुब्रह्मण्यस्य दर्शनम् एवं क्रमेण दर्शनं कुर्मः इति. किन्तु मधुरै मन्दिरस्य दर्शनं तु पूर्ववत् सरलं नास्ति. इदानीं बहु चेकिङ्ग् सर्वम् अस्ति.
நம்ம தேடி கண்டுபிடிச்சு பார்க்க வேண்டியதுதான் முதல்ல பிள்ளையார.
बहुवारं गतवती किन्तु अहं भ्रमन्ती भवामि. एतावत् पर्यन्तं मम
That's because of too many constructions over the centuries. So என்ன பண்றது?
अहं वन्ही पिळ्ळयार् अन्विष्य पश्यामि.
One more question. नमस्ते श्रीनिवास महोदय.
नमस्ते महोदय, ये शिवगंगा ये कहाँ अस्ति?
यदि पुरीला
शिवगंगा
Shivaganga is the same as Hemabjini. It is called Pottramarai Kulam in Tamil. Pottramarai Pon Tamarai. So Hema Suvarna Padmam. There is a lake in Madurai.
Madurai lake.
Pottramarai Kulam nu innikku irukku. Shivaganga.
Namaste. Namaste.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, we'll stop with this. Namassundaranathaya tasmai halasya vasine chatushshti vidhalila yenakari bhuvastale Srimad Sundaranathasya devim shakaralochanan kalage hridaye nityam kadamba vanavasi.